You are Locked On Knicks POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The friendly confines of Madison Square Garden, exactly that tonight for the Knicks in their return home. Friendly. New York spanks Milwaukee. Knicks beat the Bucks tonight 116-94, complete domination. After a 2-2 road trip, the Knicks played just their third home game of the season. They earned just their second home win of the young season, but again, it comes in style tonight against the Bucks. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're familiar with my work, that means you're most likely in New York. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. You can follow me on X at Jay Berman. That's Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Knicks postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Knicks podcast feed. The postcast gives you a place to hang out after every single Knicks game. We, of course, are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll chat everything Karl Anthony Towns, who, in case you didn't watch, was brilliant again. He was on the road, equally brilliant tonight in front of the home folks. Team history made, all 5 starters scoring double digits again, we'll explain. And we, of course, have to take a look ahead as the Knicks head back out on the road, believe it or not, for 2 more. All that coming up on the postcast. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. And one more note, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. All right, a 116-94 victory, as we told you, and the main culprit, if you will, of course, Karl Anthony Towns, who has just been brilliant. Towns pumped in game-high 32, grabbed 11 rebounds, dished out 5 assists, and only committed 2 turnovers. He has been brilliant. Towns, a 7th straight double-double. He pumped in 27 of his 32 and 4 3-pointers in the very first half. The best part about the numbers tonight for Karl Anthony Towns, perhaps, is the fact that he played only 32 minutes. So he basically sat the equivalent of an entire quarter plus. No Knick played more than 37 minutes, which was Mikal Bridges' number. Everybody else 32 and below. So it was a bench clearer type game. Even Matt Ryan saw some play. He did make a 3-pointer. Of course, the New York kid is a story we'll get to at another moment. But again, 116-94, a complete effort from the Knicks. Offense, defense, rebounding, assists. The Knicks set a season high with 35 assists, which is just an amazing number. They committed just 7 turnovers, several of those really in garbage time, if you will. The closest the Bucks were in the second half was 15. The Knicks led by as many as 30, and as we said, they set a season high in assists with 35. Now, it was a pretty good matchup coming in, especially considering the Bucks have been struggling despite the win last night. Remember, back-to-back, they beat the Jazz last night, traveled to New York tonight, and obviously get beaten down by the Knicks. But in addition to the good matchup this season, it's been a pretty good matchup for the Knicks overall. Jalen Brunson in 5 games last year against the Bucks averaged 37 per game, including 2 40-point-plus performances. Now, tonight, Brunson, not great. 6 of 14, struggled to find his shot. 0 for 5 from beyond the arc, did have 15 points and 9 assists, and led all players on the court in plus minus, which of course we talk about nightly here, plus 28. He was brilliant. Plus 24 for Karl Anthony Towns, plus 21 for Mikal Bridges, also a plus 21 for Deuce McBride, who's getting a lot of PT these days and doing so in style. Played 28 more minutes, 5 of 11 from the floor, pumped in 14 points, grabbed 5 rebounds. Deuce really doing it all. Now, of course, there's no Cameron Payne, there's no Precious Achiuwa, and there's no Mitchell Robinson. Obviously, with the bench shortened before tonight, there was plenty of garbage time tonight, but the bench really has been down to 3 guys with no Achiuwa and no Robinson and no Payne. Those 3 guys really have been Jericho Sims, Deuce McBride, and Tyler Kolek. Those are the only bench guys that have seen run before tonight, before a 30-point blowout turned into a 22-point game. As we said, it was not as close as the final number may suggest. All right, now to the fantastic work by all 5 starters. And when you play a game like this, you expect production. The Knicks have now gone 7 consecutive games where all 5 starters have scored at least 10 points. That is a new team record. The record was 6 straight back in 1989. However, the one this year is interesting. The current streak, which we said is 7, all 5 starters were the same 5 starters. Not the case back in 1989. However, now it's a thing of the past. The new record, as we said, 7 consecutive games. And considering where the Knicks were the last 2 nights of the 4-game road swing, and we'll break it down, this was impressive. If you recall, the last 2 games, and we'll run through them. Monday at the Rockets in Houston, down 3, under 2 to play. Houston outscores the Knicks the rest of the way, 9-0. Wednesday in Atlanta against the Hawks, up 5 with 3 minutes remaining. As we told you a couple of nights ago, a 13-1 late run from the Atlanta Hawks. They would then outscore the Knicks with 3 minutes remaining, 16-6. So a 9-0 run by the Rockets Monday, a 16-6 run by the Hawks Wednesday to close out 2 games. What did the Knicks do tonight? Well, they decided to go wire to wire and make things very, very easy. Knicks outscored the Bucks 32-25 after 1. The impressive quarter of the second, where they outscored the Bucks by a dozen, 34-22. And the rest was history. As we said, Karl Anthony Towns, a 7th straight double-double, pumped in 27 in the first half alone, hit 4 3-pointers on the game, all of them in the first half. He was 12 of 20 from the field. As we said, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, no steals, no blocks, no worries. Again, the Knicks, who after 2 close games could not close things out on Monday or Wednesday, respectively, didn't have to worry about it in front of the home folks. And as we said at the top, just the 3rd home game of the season for the Knicks. Of course, they've been playing much of the season so far on the road. The Knicks have played a total of 8 games, 3 at home, 5 on the road. And several of them have been close, as we just discussed. The ones that weren't close have been blowouts. Let's discuss. Opening night in Boston, I can still see the 3s raining down. Knicks lost by a lot. The Knicks returned home for their home opener against Indiana. They won by a lot. Blowout in Detroit on Friday, 128-98. Then the 2 games, Houston and Atlanta, which were obviously close, losses. And then the big one against Milwaukee tonight, which was a 30-point game that turned out to be a 22-point spread by the game's end. Again, several blowouts. As we said, the Boston blowout, the Indiana blowout, the Detroit blowout, and now the Milwaukee blowout. Everything else has been close. So it's really been a tale of 2 sets of games so far for the Knicks through the first 8. Close games in which they've had a chance to win and blown late, and then the blowouts. Either way, obviously the Boston 3 party to open the season in late October, and then tonight as well, another blowout. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll talk about the Jalen versus Dame matchup. And of course, when you talk about the Bucks, you must discuss Giannis, and we'll do so coming up next. All right, you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states. That includes California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play, even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Prize Picks. Remember, run your game. All right, we're back for segment number 2 of the Locked On Knicks postcast after a very impressive 116-94 win for the Knicks over the Bucks. By the way, the Bucks had a long losing streak heading into last night's game against the league worst Utah Jazz. So the Bucks outscore the Jazz by 23, snap the losing skid, get just their second win of the season. What do then? Take the traveling roadshow from Milwaukee to New York, and the Knicks punch them in the mouth. As we said, wire to wire for New York. The closest the Bucks were in the second half was 15. The Knicks led by as many as 30, and offensively, we said a season-high 35 assists. It was built as a pretty big matchup between Giannis and Karl Anthony Towns. However, we also had the brilliant point guard matchup of Jalen Brunson and Damian Lillard. Dame, as he's affectionately known as. Lillard pumped in 19, but struggled, just 6 of 15. Did not hit a three-pointer, missed all 4 three-point attempts he took. 2 of those 4 were air balls. 1 air ball's kind of funny. 2 air balls from one of the best shooters in the league, alarming. But that's a Milwaukee problem. They can leave themselves concerned with that. 19 for Damian Lillard, but what jumps off the page is that he was a minus 28. So not only did the Knicks suppress the offense of Milwaukee, but the Knicks were able to lay it on thick offensively on the porous Bucks defense. As we said, Bucks 2-7. They're now 1-5 away from Milwaukee. As for Giannis, he was effective, had 24 points, 12 rebounds, but was a minus 17 and did miss 10 shots. Was 11 of 21 from the floor and 2 of 6 from the line. But he did have 12 boards, 24 and 12 for Giannis, who's always a threat every time you see him. As we said, 7 consecutive games where all 5 starters for the Knicks were in double digits. That is a new team record. It erases the record of 1989, which, as we said, was 6 straight. And we told you, and it's worthy of repeating, that the 7 consecutive games this season, the current streak that's still alive, features all 5 starters that were the same 5 starters. In 1989, not the case. So this is even more unique of a record, of a team record. As we said, the Bucks won just their second game of the season last night. They head to New York. They get smacked. And by the way, they beat the Jazz, who were the worst team in the league, have just 1 win on the season. So who knows how impressive of a win that was for Milwaukee. They are certainly reeling. And for what it's worth, I always like to take a look at the standings in the NBA up to the minute standings. And in the Eastern Conference, the Knicks, as we said, are now 4-4, have jumped in front of the Hawks, Hornets, and Pacers, who are all 4-5. Nets entered play tonight 4-4. As for the Bucks, they're 2-6 in 13th place in the Eastern Conference. But as we said, a dominant performance won by Karl Anthony Towns, but that's nothing new. He has been a absolute 10 of late. But it was a complete performance from beginning to end, pillar to post, wire to wire. The Knicks got the job done and easily their best performance of the season. Now, considering the opponent, that's probably why I make that comment. Indiana's a good opponent. They blew them out. Brunson pumped in 26. Of course, they would beat Miami in Miami and Detroit in Detroit. And Detroit win was by 30, where Brunson had a game high 36. However, Utah is bad. The Bucks beat Utah, and the Knicks go on to beat the Bucks. Again, 116-94, the final score. As we said, Karl Anthony Towns had 32 in the win, grabbed 11 rebounds. The Knicks, as a team, always pay attention to this number because the Knicks lead the NBA in field goal percentage from beyond the arc. Well, tonight, they were 14 of 46, which is not great from three, just 31% from three-point land, but they're taking so many threes that they're making so many threes that it doesn't matter the percentage. And tonight, to be honest, from three-point land was an off night. The Knicks did shoot 47% from the floor tonight, 43 of 91. All right, let's take a quick look ahead, and we'll do so in the next segment as well. But I'm taking a look at this schedule just because it's a very interesting setup where the Knicks have to go to Indiana and Philadelphia, which is just remarkable considering the Knicks just had a 4-game road swing. So they're back out on the road for Sunday in Indiana against the Pacers, then Tuesday in Philadelphia against the Sixers. Then we finally get the homestand we deserved, 4 straight, including 2 in a row against the Brooklyn Nets. The Bulls next Wednesday, the Nets Friday and Sunday, and then we'll cap off that homestand with the Wizards the following Monday before the Knicks take another brutal road trip through, get this, Phoenix, Utah, Denver, Dallas, and Charlotte. Just a killer. Absolute killer of a trip. So the Knicks, as we said, spending most of the first 6 weeks of the regular season on the road. However, tonight, a different story. They pleased the home folks, if you will, a 116-94 pounding of the Milwaukee Bucks. As we said, Karl Anthony Towns, dominant, just dominant, unstoppable. And the best part about the quick start for the Knicks tonight, it allows Tom Thibodeau to rest the starters. Remember, and it bears repeating, no Achua, no Robinson, no Campaign. So the starters who are playing essentially 40 minutes a night take a step back tonight. Mikal Bridges had 37 minutes played. He was the leader. Nobody else above 32. So the Knicks finally spread out the bench time minutes, and it was certainly easier to do that in the second half when they were up by 30. The Knicks' biggest lead of the night, again, was 30. The closest Milwaukee got in the second half was 15. All right, as we said, we'll take a look ahead of the schedule, including that long West Coast swing, and we'll break down again the 116-94 win for the Knicks tonight over the Bucks. All right, listen up, NFL fans. Now is your chance to start the season with a big return. Yep, you can do it with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So here's what you do when you have a hunch in the middle of the game. Go over to FanDuel, check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more. The best part is it's all on the same page where you place your bets. Everything, absolutely everything is right there for you. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com, FanDuel.com. Knicks roughed up the Bucks tonight. 116-94 was the final score. And as we said, it comes at the perfect time because looming large after their fairly interesting 4-game homestand is a monster road swing, one that will take the Knicks, as we said, to Phoenix, Utah, Denver, Dallas. And to make things work, after the West Coast swing, they got to go back to Charlotte and play a noon game on Black Friday. So after that 4-game homestand featuring the Bulls, Nets twice, and the Wizards, it's going to be a long time before we see the Knicks again at home. But again, comes at a good time. Those 4 games at home. Before we get there, it's back out on the road Sunday in Indiana for the Pacers, and then Tuesday in Philadelphia for the Sixers. The Sixers might have Joel Embiid back. They might have Maxey back as well. We'll have to wait and see. Very interesting to see exactly what state of the Sixers they're in, but they're obviously off to a horrible start. They're 1-6, the only 1-win team in the Eastern Conference. They are the Utah Jazz of the Eastern Conference, if you will. Sixers again, 1-6. We expect them to get better. They're in last place in the Eastern Conference, 15th place. All right, 116-94, the final score. As we said, Karl Anthony Towns, the leader of the men today, 12 of 20 from the floor, 32 points, 11 rebounds, hit 4 3-pointers, all 4 3-pointers, by the way, coming in the first half. He pumped in 27 in the first half, finished with just 32. And we say only 32 because he had 27 in the first half. However, he sat most of the fourth quarter. He played just 32 minutes, which is simply put, the best number of the night. As we discuss, plus minus pretty much every night on the Locked On Knicks postcast, plus 28 for Jalen Brunson, who was just a dog. Once again, getting the job done. Josh Hart had 11. OG Anunoby had 14. By the way, Anunoby 1 of 8 from three-point land tonight. Bridges was 3 of 11. So the three-point line was not friendly to the Knicks tonight, which is way below their number. Usually not this low, a three-point percentage. They shot 30% tonight, 14 of 46. Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. Also, before we get out of here, I want to mention our partners in crime over at Locked On Knicks, Gavin Shaw and Alex Wolf. They handle all the stuff there. Again, Locked On Knicks. They're the best, so follow, subscribe, and enjoy. Knicks beat the Bucks tonight, 116-94. It was a wire-to-wire victory. Knicks never trailed. In fact, they led by as many as 30 in the second half. Their lead shrunk all the way down to 15 in the second half. That's right, the Bucks got within 15. That's as close as they would get. Again, Karl Anthony Towns, 32-11. 15-9, 9 assists for Jalen Brunson. And again, the Knicks win it 116-94. As we said, the Knicks next will face the Pacers in Indiana on Sunday. And then Tuesday, the Sixers in Philadelphia. This has been the Locked On Knicks postcast. My name is Jay Berman. Follow me on X at Jay Berman, Jayberman.